So I was reflecting the other day about when I quit my job and I first came to this realization that I had no idea how to get customers for my business. And I wanted to share some of the things I've learned along the way because I figure there's no better way for me to get you to start watching the channel than to actually help you make some money, help you generate some leads, and help you grow your business. Okay, so I've been involved with some really awesome circles of some high level entrepreneurs, and this topic of getting leads and really distributing our message across a larger audience really comes up in all these conversations. So there's three ways of growing your business. And the first way is getting more customers. The second way is getting those customers to pay more money. And then the third way is getting those customers to buy from you again and again. Now, this video is going to be all about that first way of growing your business, which is getting more customers. And I want to start by highlighting the fact that growing your business and getting more leads, regardless of what anyone says, is a very imperfect science. Nothing works for everyone 100% of the time. So this is really more of a it depends type of scenario. And when I take on someone as a client and I start looking into their business about how we can help them grow it, a lot of times we're looking for some short-term wins, we're looking for some long-term action, and like I mentioned, it's a it depends type of thing. And it's deciding what we can do now and then what we want to do later, right? Essentially, we've got two sections here. We have the media section and then we have the people section. And everything I'm going to show you here falls within one of these two sections. And within each section, there's some things we can do that are going to be a little bit faster and some things we can do that are going to be a little bit slower and create that long-term sustainability. Essentially, we have our home runs and we have our base hits, if you need a baseball analogy. I want to really create a deeper level of discussion and a deeper understanding on how you can use all these to your advantage and really how all of them kind of feed off each other. And then we can allow you to make some of the decisions based on what you feel is going to be best for your business. So starting off here in the media section, we have our bought media. So this is going to be our paid advertising. Now, this is something that a lot of people talk about. And I think the reason why it gets so much press is because it's something that is really on that faster end of the spectrum. You can start running these paid ads right away, and you can start seeing a return on your investment pretty quickly as long as you've set them up properly. Now, one of the themes you'll see as we go through this is that there's some pluses and there's some minuses to each one of these things we're going to go over. The plus side to paid ads, obviously, is that you can start to generate leads a lot faster. You can get in front of more people faster. The downside is that it takes a little bit of testing. It obviously takes money, and it takes a little bit of a skill set to set the targeting up properly. My absolute best advice, though, is to not rely on any one of these strategies because I've seen a lot of things happen, especially with ads. The ad costs can shoot up for no reason. I've had clients where their ad accounts get disabled, their ad accounts get locked, and they're not able to get back into them. And if you're only relying on that thing and that happens to you, you're in trouble. So the second thing we have here in this media section is earned media. And essentially, this is building an audience organically. This is distributing your message across social media platforms. And this is nothing new. This is what people have been doing for the last decade. And you can really use a lot of different social media platforms as often as you want to distribute for free. That's what I'm doing here right now. I'm distributing this message on a platform. And the beauty of this is you can do this as often as you want and it costs you absolutely nothing. Okay. The downside is it takes time. You have to be good, you have to be interesting, you have to be consistent, and you have to deliver value in a way that gets people to want to give you their attention. Attention is a precious commodity, and there's a lot of things that are diverting people's attention away from you, so you have to try to, earn that attention. That's why it's called earned media. The third category is going to be owned media. Now, owned media is a little bit different than earned media because this is where we're taking the earned media and we're deplatforming it, meaning that we're taking the attention off of social media. We're putting that attention onto an email list, a newsletter, a free opt-in, a customer list. And essentially, this is a group of people who have taken that next step with you and they've given you permission to contact them. And this is extremely valuable long term because if social media accounts and all of our social platforms were shut down, you'd be able to tap into this list of owned media. These are people who you've connected with on a deeper level, and you can keep your business moving forward. This is the longest term play in the media section, though, because obviously it takes time to establish the trust and authority to get people to take that next step with you. So, switching gears and coming over here to the other section, we have the people section. And the first thing that falls under the people section is going to be outbound outreach methods. Now, this is as old as they come. This is something that just about anybody can do, regardless of what business you're in. And this can be messaging people on social media who follow you. This can be messaging people on social media who don't follow you. This can be you going door to door passing out business cards, right? It's one of the oldest methods in the book. This is probably one of the most time consuming methods, and the reason comes down to leverage. And with outbound outreach, you don't have a lot of leverage and you're just really using your time, and it's a thing of volume. The more messages you send, the more business cards you pass out, maybe the more you'll get in return. And if you're willing to trade some of that time that it takes to do this, it's definitely one of the fastest, most effective things you can do starting off to generate leads. Because think about it. If you send 100 messages a day, it's likely that unless you're sending really bad messages, you'll probably get at least 1 or 2 leads out of that. But again, if you're just starting off, this is a great place to hit some of those home runs early on. The second thing is affiliates. Now, much like earned media, okay, affiliates is a little bit slower because it takes time to really establish that connection and trust in order for people to want to do business with you. And the big mistake people make with affiliates is it's all me, 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 and it's not a win-win scenario. Affiliations have to be a win-win, where if I send you someone, I get this in return. You send me someone, you get this in return, right? So affiliates can be a really good thing. It's a little bit lower on the spectrum of speed because, again, it takes that time to establish the connection. Okay. The third thing is going to be referrals. Now, referrals is the ultimate long-term play, and referrals is the one thing you can do to really create exponential growth for your business. When you get good results with your clients, and if you're working really hard to get those clients, doesn't it make sense for them to send you another client, who sends you 2 more clients, who sends you 4 more clients? If I work hard to get a client, it just makes so much sense for that client to send me another client, right? So for a lot of companies, right, these 6 methods here, they're using these 6 methods, they're using some of them, they're using all of them, but a lot of companies are media companies, and they're essentially fully in this section over here where they're leveraging a large audience, they're using fast response paid marketing, and these are a lot of those business to consumer companies, those B2C companies selling physical products, and they're really focusing on just kind of getting people to make impulse decisions. On the other end of the spectrum is the people who I work with selling high ticket services. They're coaches, they're consultants, they're professionals. These people really benefit from some of those more long-term plays, the long-term sustainability, the affiliates, the referrals, the owned media, the earned media. And what's interesting to me now is as I go further into this journey as an entrepreneur, I've really started to diversify how I'm getting my clients. And originally I started over here in the manual outbound section. I had mentors who told me I should never run paid ads no matter what until I get to 50K a month. And it was a super arbitrary number. So I did outbound leads. I was, very low leverage. I was working real hard. I got tired of not seeing results fast enough. So I went against their advice. I found new mentors who taught me the paid advertising game. Then for a while, I was strictly the paid ads guy. But more recently, I've shifted my focus towards the long game. And I've shifted my focus towards the 2 and 3 and then the 5 and 6, not necessarily away from the 1 and 2, but I'm trying to create more of a solid base, a solid sustainable base for my businesses. And as I've looked at more businesses and as I've coached more people, I've come to terms with the fact that we don't need to just rely on one lead gen source. And it actually will behoove us to diversify how we're generating leads and create a good solid system for each. I think what most of us want, like I mentioned, is some home runs, some base hits, but what we need is offense. We need leads, we need customers in order to keep growing our business, okay? So That's it. If you don't have customers, you don't have a business. And if you found this helpful, share it with someone who you think needs some leads. And if you want to talk about this some more, send me a message, leave a comment, like the video, and I'll see you next time.